Hey, just woke up, so if you're wondering why I look like this, I'm gonna go swimming later, so that should help. I was gonna go yesterday, but the earplugs are missing. I don't know, so I had to order some more. But I see this a lot. Like chiropractors will say, like, for every inch, you lean forward, that's like another 10 pounds, which of course isn't true, because like if you lean forward, you're not like, oh my God, like 10 pounds is a lot. Like, like if you lift any kind of weights, like if you just suddenly add 10 pounds, unless you're talking about maybe your legs. But even then, like if you're doing the leg press, maybe, because you can leg press like anybody could leg press 300 pounds. So if you do 310, maybe you don't notice. But leaning forward, it doesn't, every inch, they say every inch you lean forward is 10 pounds. That's not true. Because like that's just basic physics. Like if you have a fulcrum and you got two 10-pound weights, one on the left, one on the right, and it's evenly balanced, right? And then you move the platform an inch to the left, and then you don't need 20 pounds on the right to balance out the 10 pounds on the left because there's not a 10-pound increase. So that's your basic physics, and that's just gravity, and that's just basic physics. So, no, it's not a 10-pound increase for every inch you move forward. But if you are sitting with your head forward all day and you're looking at your cell phone all day, that will strain your neck in an unnatural way. I think the big problem is not leaning forward so much, because like there are a lot of people that like work on assembly lines, or like, they work at a subway and they're leaning down and like doing stuff. The problem is staying in that position for an extended period of time, and then also not listening to your body, because like phones are so addicting and computers are so addicting, that dopamine hit you're constantly getting, that you're like, your neck is feeling a little strained, it's feeling a little strained, but you ignore it because you're getting high basically, and you're just feeling good. So normally if you were doing something like reading a book or something less dopamine intensive, you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna, stretch out and stand up and whatever and go do something else. But when you're getting the constant dopamine hit, you ignore that. So, and that's where you run into problems. It's not just like leaning forward, because we're meant to lean forward, like our spines can handle that. Of course, obviously, um, evolutionary biology is not perfect. We don't have perfect bodies. Like when I say we're meant to lean forward, we're meant to be able to do it to some degree, because like, bend down and lean forward and grab stuff and whatever. But there's not, like, we're not perfect. So, like, but I'm saying like we're pretty durable, but we when you ignore, like pain is there to tell us there's a problem. So like, oh, my neck's feeling stiff, let me stop doing this. But then, like I was saying, you're getting that constant dopamine hit, and then you just ignore it. So and then you start having like loss of cervical curve and ligament stretching, and then tendons and muscles are doing unnatural things that people don't normally do. And yeah, so in that way, that's not natural. Like, we're not meant to ignore like the pain you feel. Like when you have a pain in your back and you're sitting in your car and you're driving, you like shift. You might like adjust, like sit up a little bit more. But when you're focused on a very dopamine intensive task, you don't care. You're just like, I need to keep getting this dopamine. And then you just ignore your lower back, you ignore your neck and whatever. But then, and then of course, you know, dopamine. I mean, phones encourage us to look at them constantly. Like, wait, but like there are people that like would read books. Like I read books a lot, and I never had problems with my neck. But the problem started when like I'm at the computer, because then I start ignoring that, and then anyway, I'm just repeating myself, but you get the idea. So yeah.